Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Kali ini kita akan bincangkan bab 7 iaitu quantum physics. Okey, kita akan bincangkan unit pertama iaitu the quantum theory of light. Okey, the learning standard yang terlibat. Okey, kita ada beberapa learning standard. Kita tengok one by one. Okey, the first learning standard is explain the initiation of the quantum theory. That's mean the how the quantum theory boleh wujud, ya. So kita akan tengok dia punya history. Okay, before that kita tengokkan dulu apa yang kita akan discuss dalam bahagian ini. Okay, electromagnet spectrum is a continuous spectrum that consists of 7 types of wave with different frequencies and wavelength. Okay, as you know, yang kita dah belajar dalam electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, kat sini ada 7 types of wave. Okay, start with gamma rays and the last one is the radio wave. Okay, so and this part, okay, you kena tahu gamma rays dia punya wavelength adalah paling pendek, manakala untuk radio wave the wavelength is sangat yang paling panjang. And then this characteristic dia opposite dengan frequency. Okay, but in this topic we will discuss about the light. Okay, visible light, and mungkin ada sikit akan masuk kepada ultraviolet radiation, ya. Okay, object with high temperature or hot object emit wave with high frequency. Okay, examples the visible light and ultraviolet radiation. Yeah, the high object. Okay, the high temperature of object. Okay. Okay, now we will discuss about the black body. Okay, what's mean by the black body? The black body is an idealized body that is able to absorb all the electromagnetic radiation that fall on it. A black body can also emit thermal radiation depending on its temperature. The radiation emitted form a continuous spectrum and is unaffected by the nature of the black body surface. Thus, an object emitting electromagnetic radiation which is determined by its temperature is known as the black body radiator. Okay, emit we call as radiator, black body radiator. When dia absorb we call as the black body. Okay, so look at the info gallery. The ray of light that enter the ear cavity will undergo repeated reflection on the inner walls of the ear cavity. At each reflection, part of the rays are absorbed by the inner walls of the ear until all the rays are absorbed. So, the ear cavity acts like a black body because dia akan absorb. Okay, so kita punya ear tu adalah example of a black body. Okay, now look at this graph. Okay, figure 7.2, graph of radiation intensity against the wavelength. Ya. So kalau you tengok dekat sini kita ada blue star. Okay, blue star where the temperature is 7,000 Kelvin. Sorry. And the white star like the sun, example the sun, the temperature is 5,270 Kelvin, while for the red stars, okay, just have 4,000 Kelvin. Okay, so look at the radiation intensity. When the temperature increase ataupun high temperature, dia punya radiation intensity juga adalah tinggi. Kalau kita comparekan dengan low temperature, red star. Red star dia punya temperature just 4,000 Kelvin. So dia punya radiation intensity rendah berbanding dengan the blue star. Dalam blue star kita ada visible light dan juga ultraviolet. Okay, based on the figure 7.2, 3 spectra or spectrum are shown for 3 different temperature. They are always small at the left hand side. Left hand side, that's mean here. Okay. And that's mean the short wavelength, the high frequency side. Okay, so this one dia adalah short wavelength. Okay, as the temperature of an object increases, the peak wavelength become shorter. Okay, the peak wavelength become shorter. Jadi dekat sini yang kita panggil sebagai peak wavelength. Okay, despite. Okay, despite peak kita panggil sebagai peak wavelength. Okay, blue star are hotter than the red stars. That's why tadi kita tengok dia punya radiation intensity dia lebih tinggi. Okay, the energy of black body radiation is not shared evenly by all wavelength, so the intensity become nearly zero at the short wavelength high frequency side, despite. Okay, so you just ingat saja dia punya graf ini. Kalau you nampak graf ini, maksudnya dia melibatkan dengan dia punya temperature. Okay, this one is the examples of black bodies in our daily life. Okay, thermographic image by a car, kalau kita perhatikan, okay, image dia pada bahagian enjin dia warna merah. Warna merah. Sebab apa? Sebab enjin ni panas. Okay, satu lagi pada tayar juga warna merah. So maksud kat sini temperature dia tinggi. Sebab kat tayar dia ada friction dengan permukaan jalan. Okay, selain daripada tu kita ada oven. Okay, oven. Okay, ini adalah dia punya heating element dia. So ini adalah juga application bagi black bodies. Okay. Yang ni juga sama. Thermal radiation of light bulb at different temperature. This one is the temperature dia adalah lebih rendah compare dengan yang sebelah kanan. Okay, now look at the ideas. Okay, macam mana ideas bagi quantum physics teori ni boleh wujud? Okay, kita tengok dulu intro dia. Light is an electromagnetic wave that is produced from a vibration of an electric charge. In a hot object, electron vibrate rapidly and randomly in any direction and produce light. As the object become hotter, so the vibration of the electron become more energetic and more light will be emitted. So the electron in a hot object will vibrate in a continuous frequency range. Okay, so according to the classical theory, electrons vibrate at the same frequency should have the same energy content. The vibration frequency of the electron also has no limit. This one refer kepada classical theory. Thus, the light energy produced by the vibration of electron can reach unlimited high value. However, okay, this one from the classical theory. Okay, however, experimental results involving black body radiation are inconsistent with classical physics theory. Okay, so bila kita ada saintis yang buat eksperimen, dia dapati radiation tu adalah inconsistent. So, based on the graph of radiation intensity against wavelength for the black body radiation, the light intensity of the left side of the peak does not continuous to increase with the increase of wave frequency as predicted by classical theory. Okay, so tadi dia yang ada saintis yang buat eksperimen, so dia argue pula about this graph. Okay, so this controversy dia akan wujudkan yang kita panggil sebagai theory of quantum physics. Okay, now kita tengok siapakah saintis yang terlibat untuk klasik teori. Mungkin ada yang tanya saya, cikgu ni perlu ke ingat? Yes, kita perlu. Tak ingat, kita ingat dia punya apakah penemuan dia. Okay, untuk classical theory kita ada Isaac Newton, kita ada Thomas Young, Joel Dalton and J.J. Thomson. Okay, untuk Isaac Newton dia kata the particle nature of light. Okay, the particle nature of light. So describe light as the single stream of particles. Okay, and then unsuccessful in explain the phenomena of light refraction due to failure in comparing the speed of light in glass and air. Okay, so dia gagal lah nak explain fenomena bagi refraction of light. Okay, and then seterusnya this apa panggil fakta ini, okay, disambung pula oleh Thomas Young. Okay, disambung pula oleh Thomas Young, di mana Thomas Young dia ada wujudkan yang kita panggil sebagai double slit experiment. Ingat tak dalam tajuk wave, ya, kita ada Young double slit experiment. So conduct double slit experiment on light, okay, in 1801 and show that light is a wave. So dia nampak menunjukkan yang light ini adalah wave, but unable to explain the radiation spectrum produced by black body. Okay, and then what happened? At the same time, kita ada Dalton atomic model, iaitu John Dalton. Okay, matter consists of basic particles that cannot be further divided called atom. Okay, same element have the same types of atom, but unable to explain the light spectrum produced by atom. Ini yang menjadikan kontroversi tu tadi. Okay, seterusnya J.J. Thomson, discovery of electron. So discover in negatively charged subatomic particles called electron. Design experiment to study the behavior of electron, but unable to explain the line spectrum of light produced by atom. So kebanyakan ni dia tak berjaya nak explain about the black bodies. Ya. Okay, so itu sebabnya this one wujudlah yang kita panggil sebagai quantum theory. Quantum theory dimulakan oleh Max Planck, yeah, introduce the concept of quantum district energy. The electromagnetic wave emitted by a black body is in district from form known as quantum of energy. The energy in each quantum is directly proportional to the wave frequency and the intensity of the radiation is okay, intensity of the radiation is low for the high frequency wave. Okay, so kat sini dia Max Planck dia dah introduce about the concept of quantum. Next diteruskan oleh Albert Einstein. Kat sini dia introduce about the photon concept. Okay, apa itu photon concept kita akan discuss selepas ni, ya. So Einstein quantum theory light was successful in explaining the characteristic of the photoelectron effect that could not be explained by classical theory. Seterusnya kita pergi kepada Niels Bohr, explain the production of line spectrum by hydrogen atoms. Okay, and electron in an atom orbit around the nucleus on certain shells only. Itu model yang kita jumpa sekarang, ya. Seterusnya yang ni yang akan banyak disebutkan, iaitu Louis de Broglie. Ya, Louis de Broglie introduced the hypothesis of the wave nature of particle in 1924. Einstein and de Broglie postulate the idea of the wave particle duality. Yang ni pun kita akan bincangkan nanti. Wave particle duality of light and all subatomic particles. So ini adalah kita panggil apa? Tokoh-tokoh yang terlibat dalam theory of quantum physics. Okay, kita jangan kata dia orang ni saja yang hebat. No, sebab idea tu sebenarnya datang daripada classical theory. Ya. Okay. So kita dah selesai untuk the first learning standard. So kita akan pergi kepada yang kedua, iaitu quantum of energy. So in this subtopic we will discuss about the quantization of energy and explain the concept of photon. Okay. So before that, saya akan explain about the quantum of energy. What's mean by quantum of energy? Quantum of energy is discrete energy packet and not a continuous energy. Okay, so kita akan tengok quantum ni adalah energy packet, okay, yang mana dia adalah discrete. Apa maksud discrete dan juga continuous, kita akan tengok selepas ini, ya. The energy depends on the frequency of the wave. The concept of continuous energy and discrete energy can be explained by using visible light. Visible light adalah contoh kepada continuous energy, and the line spectrum yang kita panggil sebagai discrete energy of hot mercury vapor. Look at the activity 7.2. So in activity 7.2, the aims to compare the concept of continuous energy and discrete energy. So kat sini number 2, gather information related to the concept of continuous energy and discrete energy. Dua ni juga yang disebut, ya, continuous energy and discrete energy. Okay, of the following aspect. Number 1, a visible light spectrum. Okay, look at the this one is the visible light spectrum. As you know, okay, the different types of color, okay, the visible light, they start daripada the white light. So dia akan split kepada 7 visible colors. Okay, so how to produce the 7 visible colors? So kat sini dia ada bagi tahu, produced by the dispersion, okay, of white light by prism that consists of 7 visible colors. Okay, in this part kita apply iaitu yang kita panggil sebagai refraction. Okay, refraction of light. Kita akan gunakan prism, ya. Dalam ni digunakan prism. Okay, has the wavelength range from 400 nanometer to 750 nanometer. So this one we call as the visible light. So kalau you tengok dia punya visible light ni, dia tak ada the specific range dia, ya. Kalau kita tengok warna kuning ni, tak boleh nak bagi yang tepat. Okay, so ini kita panggil sebagai continuous energy, okay, ataupun continuous spectrum. Now untuk yang kedua, a line spectrum of mercury lamp or other lamp. Yang ni kita gunakan mercury, ya. Okay, the line spectrum of mercury lamp, yeah, this one. Okay, you dapati dia ada line ini. So ini yang kita panggil sebagai discrete tadi, ya, discrete. Okay, produced by an excited atoms in a series of color line with unique wavelength and frequency. Each element produce a spectrum with a series of its own distinctive lines. So kalau kita tengok kat sini, dia spesifik nilai tu. Okay, sebab dalam bentuk garisan. Okay, so kemudian jawapan yang ketiga, differences between continuous energy and discrete energy. Okay, so kalau kita tengok continuous because there are no separation gap between each color in the spectrum, while for the line spectrum can be used to identify the presence of an element. So dia spesifik terus. Okay, so ini yang kita panggil sebagai continuous energy and discrete energy. Jadi kalau kita tengok kat sini, quantum energy tu dia adalah discrete energy, di mana dia adalah bentuk yang ni, bentuk line, ya. Okay, seterusnya kita pergi kepada based on Max Planck and Albert Einstein quantum theory, light energy exists in the form of an energy packet known as photon. Ya, energy packet kita panggil sebagai photon. Photon are light energies transfer in quantum of energy. The photon energy is directly proportional to the frequency of the light wave. Okay, directly proportional. So kalau kita tengok dia punya simbol yang ni lah. Ini adalah photon energy. F ni adalah frequency. So the photon, the higher the frequency of light wave, the higher the energy quantum of a photon. So ini adalah formula pertama yang akan jumpa hari ini, okay, iaitu E equals to, the photon energy equals to HF. Okay, H2 refer kepada apa? H2 adalah Planck constant. Kenapa? Sebab yang ni, yang menjumpai ini adalah Max Planck. Okay, jadi ini adalah formula pertama. Dan Max Planck dia ada dia punya, sebab dia constant, so dia ada nilai dia 6.63 times 10 power of negative 34 joule second. Okay, look at the example. Okay, look at the example. Compare the energy of 400 nanometer and a 750 nanometer light photon. Okay, step number 1, identify the problem. So, you tengok dekat sini, energy of 400 nanometer photon, energy of 750 nanometer photon. Itu adalah problem. And then identify the information given. Okay, Planck constant. Memang dia tak bagi dalam ni, tapi you kena dah tahu. Okay, kemudian speed of light, C equals to 3 times 10 power of 8 nanometer per second. Dia punya wavelength bagi setiap ni. Okay, dia dah bagi nilai dia. Okay, kemudian identify the formula use. Okay, C equals to lambda F. Okay, C equals to lambda F. Yang ni kita dah belajar kan. So, then F equals to C over lambda. Okay, C ini sebenarnya adalah speed of light. Kalau you belajar kat wave, dia adalah V. V equals to F lambda. Ya, tapi kat sini kita gunakan speed of light in vacuum. So, kita gunakan C lah. Ya. So, C equals to F lambda. So, kita substitute dalam formula. Sebab apa kita nak gunakan lambda ni? Dia punya wavelength. Ya, kalau kita refer kepada yang ni, tak ada wavelength. Jadi, F ni kita elaborate balik lah. Ya. Okay, so you gantikan dalam formula, so you akan dapat nilai. So, you dapati untuk E1. Okay, E1 ni tadi adalah untuk 400. Dia punya nilai bagi energy adalah 4 times 10 4.97 times 10 power of negative 19, while for wavelength 750 the photon energy is 2.65 times 10 power of negative 19. So that's mean the shorter the wavelength of light, the higher the photon energy. So ini satu lagi info yang you kena tahu. Ya, shorter the wavelength, higher the photon of energy. Okay. Seterusnya kita akan pergi kepada wave particle duality. Okay, the learning standard is explain the wave particle duality. Okay, wave particle duality is a concept in quantum mechanics that every particles or quantum exhibits both particle and wave properties. That's mean the wave particle ni dia ada dua. Sometimes dia akan jadi particle, sometimes dia akan jadi behave like a wave. Ya. Particles with or without mass have wave properties. Example, electron and photon have wavelength but also behave as particles. This one we call as the wave particles duality. Okay, Louis de Broglie introduced a hypothesis that all particles can exhibit wave characteristic in year 1924. So he stated that the relationship between momentum of particles and its wavelength. So dia jumpa lagi satu formula, lambda equals to H over P. H ni adalah Planck constant, P itu tadi adalah momentum of particles. Okay, the greater the momentum of particle, the shorter the wavelength. Since the value of momentum of particle can be determined by P equals to mv. Yang ni pun kita awak dah sedia maklum. Formula bagi momentum. So the following formula can also be obtained, okay, like this. But the keyword adalah yang atas ni lah. Lambda, okay, wavelength equals to H over momentum. H tu adalah Planck constant. Okay, so this one is the we call as pattern, okay, pattern of electron through a thin layer of graphite, dan juga yang ni adalah through the aperture, okay, through the aperture. Ya, dua-dua adalah elektron. So kalau kita tengok apabila lalu pada aperture, so dia boleh mengalami yang kita panggil sebagai diffraction. So diffraction ni adalah berlaku pada wave sahaja kan. Tapi dia adalah elektron. Elektron tu adalah particles. Okey. Seterusnya this one. Okay, yang ni adalah image of red blood cell under the optical microscope. Ini yang biasa. Tapi kalau kita tengok bawah electron microscope, dia lebih jelas. Ya, lebih jelas. Okay, kenapa wujudnya yang ni? Sebab the bright wavelength of an electron beam is approximately 1000 to 10,000 times shorter compared the wavelength of light. So yang ni kalau digunakan optical microscope, dia tak boleh nampak. Jadi dia kena gunakan electron microscope. Ya. So ini perbezaan dia. Okey. Seterusnya, electron are said to have wave particle duality because they exhibit the properties of both particles and wave. Light also possesses both wave and particle properties. Therefore, light and electron are said to have wave particles duality. So this duality is also found in all kind of radiation in the electromagnetic wave spectrum, as well as in subatomic particles like proton and neutron. So kita akan jumpa satu lagi formula, the light energy transmitted in energy packet known as photon. Ya, yang tadi kita dah tahu energy packet known as photon. So the formula E equals to HF. Okay, and then for electromagnetic wave, the relationship between the wave speed c with the wavelength, okay, this one yang kita dah jumpa juga tadi, C equals to F lambda. Okay, so kita juga boleh gunakan formula E equals to HC over lambda, di mana F itu digantikan dengan C over lambda. Okay, itu adalah formula yang terlibat dalam bahagian ini. Okay, kita akan terus pergi kepada the problem solving for photon energy and power. Okay, ini formula yang kita awak dah tahu tadi. The energy of one photon E equals to HF. Okay, assume that n photons are being emitted per second. Then photon power, which is the total energy transfer per second, is so kita just masukkan saja untuk power, P equals to NHF ataupun NHC over lambda, di mana F itu kita gantikan dengan C over lambda. Okay, now look at the examples. 1. A 50 watt lamp emits red light with the wavelength lambda equals to 7.0 times 10 power of negative 7 meter. What is the number of photon emitted per second? Ya, number of photon. So maksudnya you nak cari adalah dia punya n, number of photon. So kita list all the information given. Okay, and then you identify the formula used. So kita akan gunakan this formula. Okay, so you ubah sesuai dia punya formula, so you akan dapat yang ni lah. So substitute the values and you will get the answer. The unit is per second because dia nak jawapan per second. The final answer must in per second. So the number of photons dia mesti measure per second. Okay, now look at the example 2. A red laser pen emit with the wavelength of 670 nanometer. So this one is the wavelength. Okay, so the lambda. Now the change the nano to the prefix value is the time nano 7 pula. 10 power of negative 9, right? Okay, so yang ni ditukar kepada standard form. So dia akan dapat 6.7 times 10 power of negative 7 meters. Okay, and then if the number of photon emitted is 3.37 times 10 power of 18 per second, so this one is the N. Okay, N. Okay, what is the output power of the laser pen? So you gunakan the same formula. Okay, for the speed of light, this one adalah constant, and the Planck constant also the constant. So yang ni you just list outkan saja. So the final answer you will get 1 watt. Okay, now look at the last examples. Assume that 10% of the output power, okay, the output power, so this one is the power, okay, but the 10% only. So that's mean the power 10% from 100, so just 10 watt only. Okay, it's used to emit 2.92 times 10 power of 19 photon per second. So this one is the N. The N, and then kita still lagi nak gunakan formula yang sama, P equals to NHC over lambda. So you akan ubah suai dia punya formula, so you akan dapat this formula. Okay, as you know the H also the constant, so just write down the values. Also same with the C. So and then you substitute the formula, the values, and then you will get the answer. Actually, if you give this as answer, the final answer is still sama. Kalau you nak change to the nanometer also can. Okay. So for the formative practice 7.1, this one you try buat dulu. Kita akan discuss at the next lesson. Okay, thank you.